Hey, so you want to learn how the pros make incredible designs? Well, today we're going to demystify that whole process. And the best part? We're going to do it using a powerful, totally free tool that runs right in your web browser. Let's jump in. This quote right here, it absolutely nails it. See, the real secret to pro-level design isn't about having the most expensive software, not at all. It's about having a solid, structured process, a repeatable method you can rely on. Once you get that down, you can create pretty much anything. And this is the tool we're going to use to learn that process. Photopea is, frankly, amazing. It has all the core features you'd find in professional software like Photoshop, but it's completely free. It just runs in your browser. No downloads, no credit cards, no subscriptions. It's the perfect playground for building those pro habits. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about that professional secret, the right mindset. Then we'll get hands-on, setting up your project, getting to know the most important tools, unlocking the real magic of layers, and finally, putting the finishing touches on your masterpiece and sending it out into the world. And I really want to drive this home. We're not just learning which buttons to press today. We're learning a workflow. It's a way of thinking that organizes your creativity from start to finish. Once you master this workflow, you can pick up any design tool and know exactly what to do. All right, enough talk. Let's get practical. Every single great design, from a simple logo to a movie poster, starts with the same thing, a blank canvas. So let's walk through how you get your project started in Photopea. It really is this simple. You just go to the website, click that big New Project button, and this little window pops up. You can type in the exact width and height you want, or you can just pick from a ton of handy presets, like for an Instagram post or a standard document. For now, just pick anything and hit create. Boom, you're in. Now, I know this interface might look a little intimidating at first, but trust me, it's super logical. Just think of it in 3 parts. On the left, you've got your toolbox. That's what you can do. Up top, you've got options for whatever tool you've picked. That's how you can use that tool. And over on the right, and this is the most important part, you have your layers panel that tells you where you're working. Okay, let's talk about that toolbox on the left. Instead of trying to memorize every single icon, let's just group them by what they do. Really, they all fall into 2 main categories: tools for selecting stuff and tools for changing stuff. First up are the selection tools. The best way to think about these is like digital painter's tape. When you're painting a wall and you tape off the trim? That's what these do. They let you draw a boundary around a specific part of your image so that whatever you do next, painting, deleting, whatever, it only happens inside that boundary. It's all about control. And you really only need a few to get started. You've got your basic shapes, like rectangles and circles. The lasso tool is great for drawing your own custom freehand selections. And the quick selection tool, it's kind of like magic. You just roughly paint over an object, and Photopea is smart enough to figure out the edges and select it for you. So, the second group of tools are your manipulation tools. Once you've selected an area, these are what you use to actually do something to it. These are your creative tools, the ones that let you paint, type, move things around, and erase. This is where the ideas in your head start to become real. And these are your workhorses, the ones you'll use all the time. The move tool, well, it moves stuff. The brush tool lets you paint, the text tool lets you type, and the eraser tool gets rid of pixels. Honestly, with just these 4 tools, you can already create some incredibly detailed and complex designs. Okay, now we've arrived at it. The single most important, most powerful concept in all of professional design. I'm not exaggerating. If you understand layers, you unlock everything. This is the secret to making complex art that's still super easy to change and edit later. So what even is a layer? The easiest way to picture it is to imagine a stack of clear, transparent sheets of plastic. You can draw on one sheet, then lay another one right on top and draw something else, and then another on top of that. When you look down through the stack, you see one combined image. That's all layers are. This is a perfect way to think about it. It's all about the stacking order. The remote is on the top layer, so it blocks your view of my face. But my face is still there, right? It's just on a layer behind the remote. That is exactly how layers work in Photopea. And the way you control the stacking order is over in that layers panel on the right side of your screen. Whatever layer is at the top of that list is what's at the front of your image. So if your green circles layer is sitting above the red squares layer in the panel, the circle is always going to appear on top. It's that direct. Now, what if you want to get rid of part of a layer, but you're not sure? You might want to bring it back later. Using the eraser is permanent. Well, that's where layer masks come in. This is the professional way to edit. Instead of destroying your pixels by erasing them, you're just hiding them. And the rule for how this works could not be simpler. Once you add a mask, you paint on the mask, not on your actual image. Wherever you paint with black, that part of the layer becomes invisible. Wherever you paint with white, it becomes visible again. Just remember, black hides, white reveals. That's it. Okay, so you've used your tools, you've organized everything with layers, you've built your awesome design. The last step in the pro workflow is to add those final polishing touches and, actually get it ready to share with the world. A fantastic way to add that final polish is with something called adjustment layers. Think of them as special layers that act like a filter for everything underneath them. You can add one to easily tweak the brightness, the contrast, or even the colors of your entire image all at once. And just like masks, they're non-destructive, so you can always go back and change your mind. Now, please listen to this part because it's a super common mistake for beginners, and it is absolutely crucial. Saving your project is not the same thing as exporting your final image. They are two totally different actions with two totally different purposes. Here's the key difference, okay? Saving a PSD file is like saving your entire kitchen. The recipe, all the ingredients, the bowls, everything. You can come back tomorrow and keep working on it. Exporting as a JPG or a PNG is like taking a photo of the finished cake. It's a single, flat image that you can email or post online, but you can't go back and change the ingredients. As a rule of thumb, use JPGs for photos and use PNGs when you need a transparent background, like for a logo. And that's really it. You now know the pro's secret, that the process is what matters. You know how to set up your canvas, how to use the essential tools, and how to harness the incredible power of layers and masks. You've got the workflow, and you've got the perfect free tool. So the only question left is, what are you going to create?